Yeah, the game starts at like 10 p.m. and he talks for like 10 fucking minutes. So
Nice.
yeah, so you catch me playing it every single time. Is it just
Like,
us? Where the
it's
fuck is
just
Tom?
everybody as usual. Everyone says they can do it, and then they can't do it.
I'm starting to feel like I don't have much of a life.
Don't worry, it's just you and I, so I must not have life either. I'm just going to casually retweet that you're listening live to the Side Quest, the pre-Christmas edition. So I don't stop popping my peas. It is I, Dolly Demovsky, ho, 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 the elf of the shelf. That was horrible. And joined by Aaron Scratty Bones Kelly.
What's up?
Hey, we're doing, man. We're doing this. It's Christmas. And that's basically all I got.
They're restarting the game.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
They can't get the questions to load. They're restarting.
That's too funny.
I better not lose my fucking levels.
All right, I can't log on there. I shouldn't be playing it live. I shouldn't be playing it live. You can play it live, but I'd be horrible if I was doing it. The feedback would be insane.
So, yeah, I've been, it's been insane. I haven't had a day off since November at work.
Has it been that busy?
No. No, my boss just thinks it will be, so I'm in every day.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And then I'm in there every day, and then he was like, well, we need people, we need a floater. We need somebody like on retainer who knows how to work both stores, and ideally they have another job, but then if they need extra hours or whatever, we can call them if any of us need a day off, like, or for, go to the doctor or whatever. And I'm like, all right, I guess. And so he hired somebody, and they instead of learning how to do the jobs, decided to completely rebuild my store from the ground up. And
wait, what?
So they've been doing that for a week, and so now I don't know where anything in my fucking store is anymore. It's all over the place. It's all mixed up. Nothing makes sense.
They just moved shit around in your store and like redid it?
They just absolutely, like, top to bottom, rebuilt the store and reorganized everything and changed it all around. Except it's not organized. Redid all the labels and price tags and shit like that. So I'm just there, and there's not enough customers for fucking one employee, and I guess there's two, and I guess she just works in my store now.
Oh my god.
So that's been my week.
The custom. Oh my lord. I mean, I've had a crazy week, but not retail, which sucks this time of year. Retail is fucking horrible. We're hunkered down on a project that is nearing completion finally after like 2 years of work, or nearly 2 years of work. And so I've been pulling some late nights, near all-nighters a couple of the nights this week, and then till like 4 o'clock. I think last night was the first night that I was done at a time before midnight. And so, of course, I opt to go see Aquaman in theaters. Holy fuck, it's the most absurd DC, it's the most absurd comic book movie I've ever seen.
In a good way or a bad way?
Yeah, it's so, okay.
All right, now I'm just going to throw this out here right now, before we do anything. I really, really, really like Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I like Jason Momoa. I fully understand why women do not like sexual objectification of their bodies, gratuitous nudity for no reason, because 98% of the film, Jason Momoa has his shirt off, and the women in the theater were loudly hooting and hollering, and I felt like insecure. Does that make sense?
No, but keep in mind that I swing both ways, so I'm with them on this one.
He is a pretty badass dude. He is a hot guy, but he really is. He is always Khal Drogo, and even in this film, he's Khal Drogo. In fact, there's one scene where
here's the best part about that.
Hair back and made him look exactly like Khal Drogo.
Here's the best part about that. The reason that I'm a fan of him is because I'm a huge fan of Stargate, and he played Ronan Dex on Stargate, who was Khal Drogo before Khal Drogo. Like, he was like a rough and tumble, gruff bounty hunter who wore his dreads pulled back in like a ponytail, and
That
Like
is
that's
true.
him.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
him.
The God, he's had long hair since he's been a teenager, basically.
Pretty much.
So yeah, it's absurd because of what this movie is trying to do. It goes from being like a superhero origin story to Karate Kid. I'm totally serious in saying it is quite literally ripping off scenes and experiences from Karate Kid. It goes into let's see, there is a Mamma Mia scene. Mamma Mia is the one where where the ladies go to Italy and they find love, which happens in this movie.
Nice. In Italy.
In Italy.
Okay.
Sorry to ruin this movie. There's a whole Raiders of the Lost Ark scene. There's the Mummy Returns, or the Mummy scene, because of course Aquaman goes to the desert. I'm ruining this movie for everybody. Who cares?
I just got to cut in here real quick.
Yeah.
So that HQ game that I was just playing, the game that started at 10 o'clock my time had a prize pool of $5,000. They ended it for technical difficulties, and they're trying to restart it at 10:30. And the new, or they're not restarting it, and they're doing a brand new mode called HQ Words.
What?
Which is like they I guess they read a question off, and you've got like Scrabble tiles, and you have to spell the answers.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's a brand new mode, I guess, and the prize pool is $200.
Oh, all right. Maybe that means that more people can win it. If it's $200,
or it's tested, but I want the other anyway. I just thought to.
Interesting. It happened in live right now. After we managed to kill off their CEO or their founder, they're going through some changes. Thankfully,
he put too many music questions in.
Exactly. Yeah, and then there's it tries to be Jurassic Park because of course T-Rexes underwater are a thing.
Sure. That's where T-Rexes live.
Yeah, that's where T-Rexes live. And then Ready Player One, all the scenes of getting every single living being on the planet to go underwater, and yet nobody on the surface realizes what's happening underwater. It's kind of bizarre, and I think one of the most just stupid things that happens in this movie is so there's this guy that a regular human dude who is angry at Aquaman for his father's death, and so he signs a deal with the Atlanteans to take out Aquaman. They supply him with, and I shit you not, this is how they present it. This is our most destructive, our most powerful weapon armor that we've developed. This is just a prototype, but this is the most powerful armor. And by the way, we're also the most advanced civilization ever on the planet, potentially in the universe. But here is this armor. And so this average dude proceeds to take it to a shed and tear it apart and make it stronger somehow.
As you do.
As you do when you get the world's most powerful weapon and you're an average dude. So yeah, and there's it's a montage, a jazz music montage of him ripping things apart and putting it together. And I think this movie is the ultimate 80s fan fiction action movie with like everything thrown into it. I couldn't keep my eyes open.
So here's my question. Do you think that they are shamelessly trying to pull off what Guardians 1 pulled off?
Oh yeah, it was Thor Ragnarok, and there was Thor Ragnarok in there as well. Yes. Thor Ragnarok, Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, there's a little bit of both of those. And I believe it's it's definitely a shameless ripoff of that.
Now, I guess the ultimate question then becomes, was it good?
A firm no. A firm
really?
no on that. I found there's one point, like there were several times where I just openly laughed at something that was meant to be an important suspenseful scene because of how it was portrayed. But I think at one point, like it's not that it was quiet in the theater, but something's happening on the screen, and I just like looked at my brother who was sitting to my left. I looked back at the screen, and I became the guy who loudly like yelled in the theater, "No!" Like no.
Did you get any laughs?
Yeah, I got a lot of laughs.
Nice.
Because everybody knew at that point. It's like, what the fuck are we watching? Why did this get to this point? They don't know what I'm spitting. They don't know what they're doing in this movie. It's like they just threw everything in there. They probably expended the entire rest of the DC universe budget on this film because they had nothing else going on.
I mean, I guess the hope at this point is that this movie also is shit and they just stop.
I am hopeful. Although I will say Jason Momoa, if they ever need a new actor to play Thor, I think he could probably fit that role pretty well. Or a Thor-like being. I think Aquaman, he's actually a great take on Aquaman. He's like this darker.
Well, they did that. They did that for a while there. There was a point where like there was a point where like Arthur Curry lost his hand and he had like a claw hand and he had a beard and he was just jacked and angry all the time.
And I wouldn't say Aquaman is angry. He's definitely jacked and he's cracks a lot of jokes in this movie. Like the thing with Jason Momoa is when you look at him, you can't tell if he's upset or happy because he's always got a smile. Like he's always got this smirk going. Have you noticed that about him? It's like,
yeah, but you can see the hate in his eyes.
You can see the hate in his eyes, but he's just like got a little bit of a smile in there. So, whatevs, Jason. I'm still a fan of yours. I still asked you what your favorite beer was when you were in Detroit at Motor City Comic Con several years ago.
What do you say?
He is just straight up Budweiser. He is just a average beer drinking.
That seems right.
Yeah. I was actually surprised. I thought he would like throw out something kind of crazy, but no, he's like just a Budweiser, dude. I was like, God damn, you are Khal Drogo.
I'm still trying to find a way to go see Into the Spider-Verse.
Dude, that movie, fuck, that was an awesome movie. So yeah, on the flip side, I saw that earlier in the week. I think I saw it on Sunday. That was a phenomenal, quite easily my favorite. It's going to be tough to say it. Oh, definitely my favorite Spider-Man movie of all time. Some of the best portrayal of comic book characters and just crossover-wise, it was terrific. Oh, shit. It's one of the top 5 comic book movies of all time, I think.
So that movie is like...
It's so fun. It's so fun.
That movie's crazy because like the delineation has always been that Marvel makes really good live-action movies, and DC always makes really good animated movies.
Yes.
And they sucked at the other shit.
Mm-hmm.
And now here comes Into the Spider-Verse, and it's really good. So now Marvel's making really good live-action movies, and here's a really good animated movie. And DC's, they still make really good animated movies, but they're not theater releases.
When DC just released a box set, 10 years of the DC universe, and it was all the animated movies they put together. And I thought, well, this is actually good. This is a good DC universe right here. Yeah, okay, full disclosure. I came to find out shortly after seeing the movie, like a day afterwards, that a couple of my friends did a lot of the concept art. In fact, one of the guys that I know actually drew himself into the movie. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, oh, dude, it's so good. It's so fun. It's so good. The characters are great. The music's fantastic. Action sequences are awesome. I mean, it's Spider-Man, but it's not like the Spider-Man that we all know, but it kind of is, just done differently. I loved it. I'm probably going to see it again. So yeah, apart from watching movies and discussing movies and discussing HQ words, let's talk about some gaming stuff. Have you been playing anything?
No.
All right.
I've been playing a lot of Civ just because of the stuff that's been happening at work. Like I got it up because it's turn-based. If something happens, I can just immediately let go and walk away and nothing happens.
Are you playing on the PC? Or?
Yeah, I got my laptop working. So here's a crazy thing. So my computer, my desktop at home.
Is it the one you're talking through right now?
Yep.
Okay.
So every time I turn my computer on, it'll boot up. And then I log in because it's Windows 10 and I have to have a login to turn my computer on now. And then I have to put my PIN in because apparently you need a PIN instead of a password now, which totally makes sense. And then it boots to my desktop and I'll let it sit there for a minute and nothing happens. And so I'm like, all right, this seems safe. And I'll turn Steam on and then my computer freezes and BSODs and restarts. And I have to manually restart it. And then I'll boot it back up and I go through this process 4 or 5 times. And every time Windows pushes an update that I can't disable, I get a series of progressively worse BSODs.
Mm-hmm.
So they pushed an update yesterday. So this past week has just been that over and over again, getting worse and worse.
Oh my God.
And then they push an update. So earlier, I went through this, and it finally seemed like it was stable. I booted up Civ, and then my computer hard crashed. And then I said, fuck, and I restarted it, and I logged back in, and somehow booting Civ up while it crashed deleted Civ. I had to totally re-download it and reinstall it.
Oh no.
The files were just gone.
Oh, it like corrupted, deleted itself. That sucks balls, dude.
Yep. Thank fucking God that I like internet here is fast enough and there's no bandwidth caps. But that's a big game.
Mm-hmm.
Had to totally re-download that and fucking it sucked, but that's all I've been playing.
Okay, that sucks.
Yeah.
So Civ 6 or 5?
Civ 6.
6. That's I'm considering picking it up for the Switch just because put everything on the Switch.
That would probably be an okay place to play it.
Okay, all right. But by the way, whenever you get back on that Switch train and they have those big ass grips, which I think are just fucking. I know a couple folks that are using them and love them. So they've.
I'd love to get back on the Switch train now that they got controllers big enough for me, but
yep.
I can't pull it off right now. I'm so broke.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. I feel you. I'm starting to get there a little bit too. So, which is why I haven't had much of a chance to play this week. I've been working a lot, as I mentioned earlier, working a lot of dumb late nights. I've been. This is my favorite week to work in a corporate setting because people are already taking like vacation days, and it's the full week of a quickly emptying out office space. So Monday you usually have maybe 50% of the people are there. By Tuesday, you're down to 25% of the entire building is there. This is the week before Christmas. Wednesday, a couple days ago, maybe 10% of the company is in the office. Today, when I walked around the building, there was maybe 6 of us, and there's usually around 600 people in the building. To the point where the cafeteria was it was down to their skeleton crew. They're selling chef special. That's the dinner or the lunch. So that was the leftovers from last 4 days. So I thought this is perfect for me. I'm going to bring my Switch into the office. I'm just going to kick back and I'm going to play a bunch of games and play some Smash with my coworker, the only other coworkers that are around, and Mario Kart and shit like that. But nope, I've been far too busy. I've been farting around with Adobe Premiere and some projects there and some other stuff, and I haven't had a chance to play anything except for when I go on a toilet break. I'm not taking my Switch with me into the men's room. I have been taking my phone, and I have been playing. I am madly in love with Picross games. Have you ever played a Picross?
I have. They hurt my brain.
The
3D ones.
The 3D ones are great. The 2D ones are great. The ones that have the Mega Picross are great. I'll play any fucking Picross thing. There's a bunch of it on the Switch. I bought every Picross thing that appeared on the Wii U and the 3DS. And I download and buy them for the iOS all the time. Well, I just picked up Konami's. It's called Pixel Puzzle Collection, Pixel Puzzle Collection, and it essentially, I'm just kind of showing on the screen here. Super simple Picross, but they have bosses in this. So after you defeat a boss, which I think it's every 3 hours, bosses are really complex Picross puzzles. So Picross, for anybody that doesn't know, you start off with whether it's 5 rows by 5 rows or 10 by 10 or 15 by 15 or whatever. And there's a series of numbers at the top and to the left of each row, top and side of each row and column. And that those numbers tell you that's how many boxes in a row there are of colored dots. So what Picross puzzles do is that you're supposed to fill in these dots and you get these images pop up. And so if, let's say you're playing a 10 by 10 Picross puzzle, and one of the columns has a 10 in it, which means every single one of the blocks has to be colored in. That's easy. But if it has a 1, there's the HQ.
Yep.
But if it has a 1, then you have a much more difficult time trying to figure out which of those 10 boxes in that case, which one is filled in. But you have
It's
to
it's a little bit like Minesweeper.
Yeah, it is. It is. But it's really fun. It's very easy. The 5x5 puzzles are easy, but it can ramp up pretty quickly. But I love it. It's a fantastic toilet time waster. So that's why I've been playing in the old dumpster, and then at home it's been more Smash Brothers when I get a chance here and there.
You got everything unlocked yet?
I'm at about, I want to say 62 or so characters unlocked. I'm playing through World of Light as well. The nice thing about the World of Light, which is a single player kind of sort of pseudo campaign mode, is if you play a couple of the battles there and then you hop out, you're immediately treated to a battle with somebody who you haven't, a brand new fighter, new challenger enters the arena type of thing, a new unlock. So, yeah, there's some actually quicker and easier ways to unlock all the characters. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Ugh.
I heard you can fuck around with your system clock and just get them unlocked.
Yeah, people have figured out ways. You can legit play through it. I think it's if you just played classic mode every time you finish a classic mode, you get one. If you play just regular Smash battles, it's like every three to four battles, you'll get a new challenger come in. Or it's timed. Maybe it's like every 15 minutes or 10 minutes or something. But if you play spirit mode, you go fight a couple spirits, then hop back out, and there's someone always there waiting for you. So nice. Yeah, they figured it out. But I'm still loving that game. It's a hell of a lot deeper once you start getting into the spirits and trying to figure those out, and you start leveling them up, and then you start, trading them, but you kind of send them out to, or disassemble them to create cores, and it helps you level up and unlock other characters and other spirits. So it's almost overwhelming, but it's still a lot of fun. And then I started playing Warframe. I think you've played Warframe before, right?
I've played several hundred hours of Warframe, but I've also played a significant amount with former writer and friend of the site, Stephen Strong.
Hello, Stephen. Yeah, so I started playing Warframe. I'm like, let me give it a shot on the Switch, because I do not have. It's the easy. This is the kind of week where I don't have time to sit in front of a TV. In fact, this is the longest I've sat in front of a device in these 20 minutes now all week. But I don't have a lot of time to sit in front of a screen. So grabbing the Switch and taking it with me to the office, just kind of running around and playing when I get a second has been fantastic. And so today was starting off on Warframe and giving that guy a shot. So that's so far 20 minutes in. It seems pretty cool. Oh my god, I'm so tired and old.
That game is super rad when you first start out, because it's like, all right, I'm gonna boot into this level, I'm gonna run through this level and shoot everything, and then I beat the level.
Running and destroy. It tells you just here, run into that guy and you'll blow him apart. All right, run into that guy. You run into that guy.
And then it sounds like you're playing as Rhino.
No, I'm actually playing as Excalibur.
Oh, the first one, yeah.
Yeah, the very first one. It's the easiest for new players. And I actually played Warframe on the PS4, right when it launched, at the onset of the PS4. But this is my first time really kind of jumping back into it. So there's, holy shit, the amount of free-to-play games. I mean, I know there's, that's what PCs and mobile are built on, but they've fully infiltrated consoles. And I'm not even talking about Fortnite or PUBG or anything, but Warframe, and I think Brawlhalla is another free-to-play. My Switch, maybe half of the games on my Switch now are some form of free-to-play, just because there's so many of them out there.
Yeah.
Same with my PS4 and Xbox, my poor Xbox One, which I see just collecting dust over there. Yeah, so I think that's basically it. I'm looking forward to this next week and a half, to just kind of chill and play video games. I got to do a little bit of cleaning. That's about it. What about you? What you got any plans coming up for the holiday break? For this holiday?
Well, so this was going to be the first Christmas since my grandmother died, and I was very much looking forward to not doing anything.
Yeah,
because she was a big she was religious, and she very much liked the holidays, and so it was always a thing. And I was like, I'm not doing any decorations. There's no lights in my house. There's no tree.
Man, Grinch, you are the freaking humbug.
I don't like holidays, but
all right.
So my mom calls me the other day and she's like, "You're coming to Christmas dinner, right?" And I'm like, "No, I'm absolutely not." And she's like, I really want you to be there." And I'm like, "Fuck."
All
So
right,
it's just me, you, and my stepdad. Then she's like, "No, your grandfather and his wife are coming. These are two people who I don't get along with and haven't spoken to in probably 20 years." I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like fun. This sounds like a great idea already." And she's like, "Also, your aunt and her husband are coming, and they're the ones who own the house."
Suddenly it's a party.
Well, they're the ones who now own the house that I used to live in. So this is just going to be a shit show of a Christmas.
This might be worth recording.
I'm showing up with a quart of whiskey.
That's true.
But
yeah. That's like the only major thing that you're gonna be doing the holiday.
I will be working every other day.
Oh my god, that sucks, dude. Oh yeah, you are. Yeah, like I said, you need that cash. We're lucky we have the week off, but we got family stuff going on every single night. But this is also the time of the year where I stay up till like 4 or 5 o'clock every night, and because my wife is home and my daughter is home, I don't have to worry about. I can quite literally revert back to my college lifestyle and stay up super late and not do any shit around the house that I need to do, and drink and not not condoning the use of alcohol, heavy use of alcohol, but I can actually enjoy my days because I know that
I'm Nova Scotian. I'm absolutely condoning the heavy use of alcohol. That's how this province survives.
I heard somebody mention like partying as a smokeahol, which I actually kind of like. So it's like smoking and alcohol at the same time. Well, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, so I'm playing a lot of games.
Yeah.
Let's get to some news.
All right. I do have a curated selection.
Cool.
I got 3 IGN, GameSpot, and Polygon. Their Game of the Years are out.
Hey, all right. Oh yeah, by the way, ours we'll do our Game of the Year podcast next week.
Yeah.
Where we talk about some of our favorite games, and then look forward to our annual tradition. Usually the end of December, beginning of January, we list each of us will list our favorites, our like top 3 to 5 of the year.
Yeah, we came up with are we still doing the same method this year, or are we actually going to sit down and argue it?
I don't know. We'll have to talk about that. We might I think our own personal ones will write up, but they might not be a bad idea to just argue the hell out of what should be the site's Game of the Year.
Well, I'll tell you this much right now. Neither IGN nor GameSpot nor Polygon's Game of the Year is what I'm going to be picking.
God of War.
IGN and Polygon picked God of War. GameSpot picked Red Dead 2.
Oh, Red Dead 2. That's so divisive. Red Dead 2 is such a divisive game.
Yeah, none of those are mine. Mine is probably going to be Spider-Man.
Okay. All right.
And speaking of Spider-Man, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate sold 5 million in 3 days, which breaks the console exclusive record previously held by Spider-Man, which did 3.3 in 3 days.
Oh wow! So wait, Nintendo had 5 million in 3 days?
Yep, for Smash Bros. Ultimate.
God.
And the reason, I just got that question wrong. Shit. They threw the word "not" in the question.
Oh, that gets you when they write. Okay. In there.
The reason that's newsworthy is because the install base for the PS4 is so much bigger than for the Switch, that the fact that it did 5 million, where Spider-Man has only done 3.3, and it's a smaller install base, that's just a lot of people getting Smash Brothers. I
think a part of that could also be because there is so much stuff on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and the Switch, you're still kind of primarily selling to Nintendo people, Nintendo like fans on the Switch. Yeah. Whereas a PS4 and Xbox One, you do have more of kind of cross console. People that are big into third parties, they'll play where their friends play. So whereas Spider-Man gets some pretty amazing numbers as an exclusive, a lot of folks are still on there for the Call of Duties and the Battlefields. But then at the same time,
Or the God of Wars,
or the God of
which
exactly
did 3.1 in 3 days.
exactly. And so I think a lot of folks are big into God of War, and they're big into or someone's big into Red Dead, or someone's big into the other exclusive Spider-Man. So I think people who buy PS4s are less Sony people and more just like more gamer people, but people who buy the like Nintendo are more Nintendo people than they are. I hate to say than they are gamer people, but I think the dedication for Nintendo fans to buy exclusives is pretty high. Whereas, like I said, Sony definitely tends to sell to a lot broader audience than Nintendo probably does. But I mean, it's great numbers for Nintendo because they were kind of on the analysts were saying they weren't going to hit their mark for sales for the Switch in the second fiscal year, but now it looks like because they did phenomenal on the NPDs for November, and they kind of what were they? They had the biggest November ever for a console.
Yeah.
For all three consoles were over 1.4 million.
All three were over 1.4, and then the Switch itself is the fastest selling console of all time.
It's
this generation for sure.
And then it was the fastest selling last year. It was the fastest selling of all time.
Right.
But I think it of this generation, yeah, because the Wii actually I think is the Wii hit it it was the grandparents' console, so grandparent gamers were getting back into it because remember they did a really good job of marketing that to like senior citizens and stuff. So people are buying the Wii like crazy.
Play some bowling without ever leaving your old folks' home.
Exactly. So that I think is still the champ. But it's good news for Nintendo because there's rumors of a Switch revision coming next year, and then you have obviously the PS5 and the Xbox 2.
Oh God, those all sound so risky. If only those companies wanted to get the good word out. I am available for reviewing those revisions.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Call me Reggie.
And so yeah, that's good news. It's great news for the market because with mobile and PC kind of blowing up again, getting so huge, I should say. People weren't sure what consoles were gonna do, but they're still strong. Gaming is still fucking huge, and it's bigger than ever.
Yeah. Speaking of bigger than ever, here's a tweet from Soulja Boy.
Oh hell yeah! Let's do it.
So I'm just gonna read it verbatim because it's just one tweet. Thank you all for your support. We are now past $1 million in sales. Hashtag Soulja Watch. Hashtag Soulja Game. Version 2 of my video game console will be releasing very soon. It's much better than the first version. Stay tuned. Big news. We are partnering with Ubisoft.
Wait, that one, that threw me for a loop. They're partnering with Ubisoft.
So saith the Soulja Boy.
So yeah, his consoles are basically Android or whatever consoles that are Japanese or Chinese and brought over to the US. And I think the second console,
they're shitty Ouyas.
The second console is called the Fuse. And I think what he might mean by partnering with Ubisoft is I think that console actually had Assassin's Creed Origins on it, or it might have Assassin's Creed Odyssey on it because it is they have Assassin's Creed running on Google's Project Stream thing. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're not actually partnering with Ubisoft, but that they might have a legal way of getting an Assassin's Creed game onto that console, which is I think it's the Fuse is what it was called in China. Yeah. But I am kind of amazed that, wow, Soulja Boy's video game console, where Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft generally take 5 to 6 years between console cycles, Soulja Boy is like 5 to 6 days between console cycles. So that's pretty quick. Good job moving that. I wonder if Tom's going to review that one too.
Oh God, I hope so. Apparently that video is doing quite well for them.
Yeah, it's insane. It's like it's pumping on its way to 1 million views.
Oh, it's past. Crazy. They got like 1 million views. I think they hit 1 million on like their first day or something like that. First 2 days.
Phenomenal. That's phenomenal.
But yeah. Fuck. What else? What else do I have on my list here? Star Citizen, everybody's favorite game that raised $50 billion off people giving them constant money, and which will never come out. They've officially taken outside investment.
Wow.
So Cloud Imperium Games, which is the company that makes Star Citizen, they sold off 10% of the company to investors, which raised them $46 million, which I guess they want to put towards like advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Which say what you want about Star Citizen, but as I understand it, this 46 million is going to be going specifically to the things like advertising that they didn't want to spend backer money on. They want to put all the backer money toward the game, which, if that's true, fair enough. It seems like a good way to do it when you're raising more money than God has to build a video game. And along with this announcement in this report, they announced that the beta date for Squadron 42, which is the single player version of Star Citizen, is 2020.
Oh wow, 2020. Okay.
So 2 years from now, year and a half. Well, I guess a year and a month from now at the earliest. But for the beta for a version of a game that was announced 6 years ago.
Jesus.
I'll tell you how long ago it was. It was announced when I was still writing those fucking news roundups for SideQuesting.
Oh my god!
Like way back in the day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So however long ago that was.
Oh shit! That's that. It just seems like the shadiest thing ever with Star Citizen, because I don't know. It's is it ever actually going to come out?
No, God, no! Come on. They'd stop getting money from people if it came out.
Stop getting money from people.
Development of the game began in 2011. That's how long ago that was.
Jeez. They pulled it over on someone, that's for sure. 2011, you said?
Yeah, 2011 is when development started, so it would have been announced before 2011. The hangar module, which was the first playable part you could touch, which was literally just like a hangar you could walk around in, was 2013. And then the other shit has been coming out, like the actual fly around inable universe, and its very, very most basic was 2015. So 2 years after the game had started to be worked on. But yeah.
Well, there you go.
Apparently they started developing it in 2011, and the Kickstarter shit was announced in 2012. So it would have been 2012 when I covered it.
Yep, I'm doing a search, and it sure looks like it.
And I got one final piece of news, and I'm only really including this because I like taking shots at Riot Games. And this paragraph from Kotaku is just so fucking funny. So the news article, if anybody wants to look up the full article on Kotaku, is top Riot executives suspended without pay following investigation over workplace misconduct. And this is about the chief operations officer, Scott Gelb, has been suspended because apparently he's a total creep. But here is the first line of the third paragraph of this article. Throughout Kotaku's interviews with people at the company, one name kept cropping up. Scott Gelb, Riot Games COO, whom current and former employees allege participated in quote-unquote ball tapping, parentheses, flicking or slapping testicles, farting on employees, or humping them for comedic effect.
Oh my God. Holy shit, dude. Yeah. You're in charge. You're boss. Do that with your buddies. Don't do that at the office.
The office of 2,500 employees, but it just became so normal, said one employee who witnessed Gelb's behavior. Another added, the ball grabbing and things like that was absolutely well known across the board. This was the COO.
The ball grabbing. That company, I know people who have gone there and who have left, and they've essentially confirmed with how bad things were over there.
I tried to get a job there.
Yeah.
Way back in the day, like 2013, 2014, somewhere around there.
Yeah, I don't think it's everywhere in the company, but in some of the more public, I mean, every place that has popped up within in the news cycles, that shit is happening. So that's quite a bummer.
Yeah.
Geez, that. They're gonna need to do a good old fashioned house cleaning of some of these a few more of these executives and kind of you know, reboot themselves in a weird way, I guess. But whatever.
Yeah.
What else you got?
That was basically it.
Okay.
That was all of the things I thought were interesting this week, and the Soldier Boy tweet was from last week, I think. But
okay, well, I've got a couple. Blizzard is accepting buyouts from its Irish facilities. I think over 100 staff members have accepted the buyouts. They're trying to. So again, in lieu of just laying people off or giving them severance, just giving them weird severance packages and that kind of stuff. Buyouts are pretty common in a lot of industries where they'll say, "Hey, we're looking to cut staff. So if anybody wants to do it voluntarily, that would really help us out. Here you go." And that's a lot of that is a lot of times trying to get the like I've been in companies where they try to get some of the older staff to move on. And let younger talent, fresh blood, I guess.
Fresh, cheaper talent.
Yeah, that's the other thing. But get those folks in there to help kind of reinvigorate companies. It's very common, and yeah, it does mean cheaper. But at the same time, what happens a lot in corporations is that the longer people get tenured at companies, the more comfortable they get, and I'm not saying like their productivity level goes down, but there definitely becomes a difficulty things become a little more difficult to be creative and innovative because you have the same group of people in the same positions over and over again. And they just a lot of times people will sit there. We just had layoffs at my company a while back. And I know a few folks who were at this place for like 20 plus years. And speaking to them afterwards, like, man, I just had 10 more years to go before I fully retired. I'm thinking, you're thinking 10 years, you're going to stay here for 10 years just to retire. And at the same time, we can get a lot of young people who are dying for any kind of job and getting, much better pay than working at McDonald's to come in and get on the job experience and go from there. So, yeah, it's a bummer in the staff reductions, but at least all these people that Blizzard's doing it right, I think, by offering voluntary buyouts. And
so when they offer a voluntary buyout, like how much are they talking here?
Every company's different. Like I know some companies will give 1 week's worth of pay for every year you've been there. So that's why the people who are longer tenured will take it, because if you've been at a company for like 12 years, 15 years, 20 years. I mean, you get that many weeks of severance pay of a paycheck. So you could, if you're at a company for like,
well, certainly more than you would get if you just dug your heels in and got fired and then qualified for unemployment or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So the longer you're at a company, and I actually know people that jump at the chance at buyouts. Like I know a lot of the car companies here in the Detroit area, the people that are longer tenured there are extremely happy to take buyouts. My dad did it. My dad did a sort of forced retirement. He took the buyout from GM, and that helped him. I mean, that set him up for the rest of his life. So he's set now. My mom retired from her company. My dad's buyout was great for him because he'd been at GM for like 30, 40 plus years, and now he's able to relax and on the back of all his hard work working on the in the factory, it all ended up, instead of him just retiring and getting a nice watch, he was actually able to take the buyout literally 2 years or 1 year before he was going to fully retire. So that helped him out. So, and a lot of the nice thing about some of these companies is, and some of these folks that the gaming industry is actually, there's a big talent pool of creative people. So if you leave a company and you go to another company, you're bringing some fantastic experiences with you, and you're kind of starting over. At the same time, you're able to teach coworkers and things like that. So, and you're getting paid, a good chunk of coin when you take a buyout. So, so yeah, there was that news, and then
I did have one more.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
I want to see it because you had something else too, right?
I was going to get one more thing, but go ahead.
So, They announced, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that the final season of The Walking Dead,
Yes.
which is being
Yeah.
finished by Skybound Games, is an Epic Games Store exclusive now.
Mm-hmm.
And so the way that'll work is that anybody who had bought it on Steam previously will still get it on Steam. It's no longer purchasable on Steam if you don't have it, and it's exclusive to the Epic Store.
Wow.
Yeah.
If you don't have it yet. So if you do already have it, you'll be able to get it.
If you have already paid it, which is everybody who bought it before Telltale went under
like
and stuff
Steam
like that.
or whatever. You'll
on
still get it
Steam.
from those shops.
Yep.
But
Absolutely.
brand new will be Telltale. Yeah, I saw the note that that Skybound posted about, we want to thank we want to thank Epic for coming in and helping us out and sort of swooping in and saving this from from extinction and helping pay all these people. I'm just curious what's going to happen after the final episode or episodes are completed. What happens to all these former Telltale employees? Right?
Well, my guess is that as they're working on this, all of the ones that Skybound picked up, because Skybound's not really a developer.
Correct.
So my guess is that while they're working on this, they're working to get themselves somewhere else now.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they're working on this. They're working on this through Skybound. Skybound's getting them paid. And then once the game's done, hopefully they'll have lined something up and they'll just be able to seamlessly, safely transition, as opposed to getting fired when the company went under and then they have nothing lined up.
Sure. Yeah, it could be set up almost like a contractual type of thing where, you guys are all in. We're picking up your contract to finish this game, so you guys are gonna be paid all the way through the completion of this game. So that way, ahead of time how many quote unquote days you have left, and you can start prepping yourself and actually. That's kind of a nice thing to be able to. We just talked about people taking buyouts. It's kind of a nice thing to know that I'm going to be paid through to this date, so I can start working my resume and getting all myself situated, so that when my contract runs out, I'm already well on the way to a new job. And I think it seems like Skybound seems pretty cool about that, and that was one of their goals was to make sure these a lot of these folks that got let go still had some work coming in before they moved on. So yeah, it's a good idea. Maybe it is. Maybe it is that that I'm thinking, Aaron. So
I mean, there's not a lot of information coming out these days, just because I'm assuming everybody who's now working back on this project is probably under the same restrictions about talking about this stuff that they would have been under working for Telltale, and then for a brief period were not under after Telltale went under. So there's not a whole lot of information flying out around there, but I assume if things were bad that they would be saying fuck it and complaining anyway, because they would still have the sympathy on their side. So so that's that. The only reason I thought about that is because a friend of mine is very pissed off about that.
Oh really?
They hate the Epic Store.
Oh,
they don't want to deal with it.
I'm not a fan of it right now.
They don't want to deal with it. They don't like the idea that they, have to have like 5 or 6 different stores installed. They're like, I just want everything on Steam, and this was on Steam, and now it's not on Steam, and that's bullshit.
So this is the Netflixification all over again, right? It's all these different streaming companies, and now Disney has their own, and now so-and-so has their. And I think this is the direction that companies like Xbox, Microsoft is going with their Game Pass, which is going to be their subscription thing. So I would not be surprised if at E3 this year we have, or whatever Microsoft announces Game Pass is going to be coming to more devices.
The Netflix thing is wild because Netflix, as I understand, Netflix's long-term goals is they want to transition to completely original content. And so I like Netflix. I've never enjoyed the experience of using any of the other streaming services. Like I don't like Hulu. I don't like any of that shit. So as Netflix transitions away from the things I want to watch, I'm just not going to watch them instead of going to like Hulu or some shit like that.
Right.
I'm not interested. I don't want to deal with their shitty services and subscription fees that still have ads for some reason. Like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I was looking. It's funny because I went to go try to find the new Mary Poppins comes out in like this weekend, I think, or next week.
Right.
Actually, it is this weekend. Holy shit. And so I thought, it'd be cool if I could get new Mary Poppins on, the show to have my daughter watch it. So I have it on Netflix. It's not on Netflix. I'm like, I always thought it was, but I guess not. But not all Disney stuff is on there. Oh, that's right. They're yanking Disney stuff off of there.
Yep.
And so I hopped on to my Prime, and it's not free on Prime, but it is. I can pay for it on Prime, but then if I pay for it on Prime to rent it, I can't watch it on my other certain device, and so it's a mess with all these. But it's the gate system of of content, and it's happening with gaming. I mean, yeah, you're gonna see some games on a bunch of different platforms. It,
It
it's
just
just
makes no sense to me. Like,
yeah.
like surely, like I would love to talk to an economist about this
Uh-huh.
because you would think, and like, don't get me wrong, like I'm not arguing in favor of monopolies. Like I live in a province that carries
Sure.
carries monopolies on a lot of shit and like directly impacts me, and it sucks. Having said that, you would think that if you have an already established thing like Netflix, that there has to be more money for less effort in it for any like media company than
Mhm.
making their own service and taking all of that distribution and bandwidth cost on themselves and server costs, like all of that. It has to be more efficient, like more like cost effective to
Right.
just put your shit on Netflix because everybody's already ready for Netflix. Same thing with Steam, right? Like Steam's already there. 7,000 games came out on Steam last year, something like that, 7,200 or whatever it was. It's only going to keep happening like that. Just put your shit on Steam.
Yeah.
Like put your shit on Steam. Don't make your own store because now you have to run your own fucking store and everything that entails.
So you have Steam, you have GOG, you have the Epic Game Store, you have Microsoft Store,
You have Origin, you've got
you have
Uplay, you've
Origin,
got the
oh
Bethesda
my,
store,
yeah. Holy shit, BattleNet.
BattleNet.
I look at the icons, even on my Mac, I look at the icons for all these damn game stores, and it's befuddling. It's like, oh wait, which one did I buy the game from? I have to log in. Oh shit, I don't remember my login password, and I have to
Yep.
go through those steps, which is always
Every
a
single
problem.
time. And then that shit gets even wilder when like you buy a game that doesn't come out on any store and then you have
Mhm.
to fucking buy it again.
Yep,
Like
exactly.
I own like something like 3 different product licenses for Final Fantasy 14 because I bought the game when it launched and it wasn't out on anything, and then it came in on Steam and I had to buy a license there, but the 2 licenses weren't compatible. So now my account when I log into Square Enix has 2 fucking copy of the games logged in there, and then if I want to play one or the other, I have to use a workaround to boot it through Steam, but I can't buy any of the expansions on Steam because then I can only pay for the game through my Steam wallet on Steam. So I have to buy all the expansions from
Shit.
other distributors and redeem them on there. And then I still can't play it on my PS4 unless I buy it again on PS4.
And we just went through this with the stupid Fortnite account,
Yep.
the account linking, where I've delinked my Fortnite account and my Epic account from my PS4 so that I could create a brand new account to get all my Fortnite and all my Twitch, everything linked to, so that I can use on my Switch and my Xbox One. And so I've lost content there. They're supposed to get the linking back in the new year sometime, but man, it's a mess right now. We thought microtransactions were going to be the only problem in loot boxes, but holy shit, this is becoming a big thing because yes, I know everybody wants to. Oh, did you win?
No,
Oh,
it's just it's the word one is starting up now.
okay, I'm gonna have to hop on that then a little bit here, but yeah, so we got all these different. We're gonna start our own store. Oh yeah,
Well,
don't
it's
forget
just
Discord. Don't forget Discord and
oh yeah,
Humble and all
Discord.
those.
Discord's
Yeah,
got a store. Fucking
Twitch
yeah.
does. Twitch
Twitch
has
has
their
a
own thing.
store. There's another one we're forgetting that's like those two, but I can't remember what it was, and I don't give a shit.
It's crazy.
Really.
It's
But
crazy.
yeah, and then like so you've got that is the word I want stratification? It is.
Sure.
So you've got that stratification of all these different game stores, and you see it again. Like every industry does this.
Hmm.
You've got a billion fast food places, and you've got a billion TV places, and cable. You get a billion different cable packages and a billion different channels. And at least for some of them, like in terms of in terms of television, in terms of things you watch, more channels make sense because there's only so many hours in a day. But in terms of something like a storefront, everybody's going to buy what they're going to buy. Like, it's not a time. It's just put
Mhm.
everything together. And then the one redeeming light was fucking VR, because all the VR developers were going to be like, no, we're all going to work together. It's going to be a unified system because
Oh,
we really
yeah,
need it to take
right.
off. And now you've got not that.
Nope. In fact, you have 3 different Oculus stores that that you
You have,
can't function the same fucking games on each one.
and they're not even going to support the goddamn Oculus anymore.
Yeah, they're not even supporting the Oculus anymore, which is so bizarre. So bizarre. I did get invited to the HTC's Vive presentation at CES in a couple weeks here. So 2-3 weeks. So I'll make sure I present from that. I'll get something from out of there. It's
my friend is a marine engineer. So like 8 months out of the year, 9 months out of the year, he lives in a tiny little engine room out in the ocean, on these and maintaining. Yeah, it's a really cool job, and he's got a lot of fun stories. But usually when he comes home, it turns into like a big drinking session because he's home for a few weeks and then he goes out again. I only found out he was home through a mutual friend who said they called him because they knew his schedule, and he told him basically to fuck off because he bought a Vive and he's just in his apartment with the door locked, fucking around with his Vive constantly.
That's fantastic.
Just in VR.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yep. I keep getting tempted to pick one up, but not for gaming. I have a laptop that I've plugged my Vive into, and it's worked. It's not a heavy duty laptop. I mean, it's like a 4-year-old laptop at this point, but it still somehow works for some VR stuff. So I'm planning on getting a Vive, because I've borrowed my work one to do some like design related Vive stuff, not necessarily gaming. But I have the PS VR, which people have managed to get to work through Steam. Right. So that's something that that's always a possibility. So if you got a PSVR, which holy shit, there was a deal. It was a mistake, but it was also a deal on QVC. Wario60, good friend of the show, Wario64 tweeted out it was like $83 for the PSVR with Astrobot and like 2 other games.
Oh, I would have killed for that. Because I got a PS4 Pro, and like that's the thing you want if you're going to use the PSVR on a console.
Yep.
And I just it's so expensive here.
That's crazy. But yeah, so it was like $83, which is freaking, that's nothing. A game, it's one game. It's cheaper than like Forza Horizon 4 with the season pass.
It's $83 is about what I would pay in Canadian for a $60 game.
There you go. Yeah. Good tidings. Well, we have the Christmas holiday coming up here. Then we're gonna do we'll pick a date, probably I think Wednesday of next week. We're gonna do our Game of the Year show. So we'll talk amongst ourselves of how we want to organize it. If we're all just gonna argue our points about the site's Game of the Year or the podcast Game of the Year, and talk about some of our favorites. But expect a good show. I think Katie said she'll hop back on, and Rexley might hop on there. And we'll have, a bunch of us. Zach will actually make his return to the podcast, so it'll be good. Should be a good old time next week. A bunch of us are off of school and work and stuff, so except for you, you're the only one. You're gonna be battening down those hatches, my friend.
Yeah, but I live so far into the ocean that even by the time you guys are like, oh, we're gonna do this, it'll be early. It's still like probably 7, 8 for me. Yeah, like we started tonight at 10 p.m. my time.
Yeah.
So I was at work
an hour
today.
ahead of me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're closer to Greenland anyway, so it's on.
I am closer to Greenland.
All right, where can we find you when you're not in Greenland?
You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at ScruddyBones.
You can make sure to watch him because he needs some people watching him. We got to get a way for you to get sponsored so you can start making some money.
I fucking, that would be awesome, but you have to be able to stream every day to be sponsored. And with my computer like this, like I don't even want to risk turning on fucking OBS right now.
Did you get this computer recently or?
Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Okay, that's crazy. And here I am, my dumbass laptop. Somehow it still works.
But so just if you see me go live on Twitter.
All right.
Our Twitch. We're both because they're linked.
You can find me at Dali Demofsky on the Twitters. I think I'm also Dali Demofsky on Twitch. I don't know what I am on YouTube, but who fucking cares about YouTube? And you can find us
The
at
big dog.
The big dog. You can find us at SideQuesting TV, SideQuesting.com. And yeah, I hate you, Sam, and I hate you, Tom.
Yeah, what the fuck, Tom? What the fuck, Sam? Sam's maybe got an excuse because he's got butt troubles, but
he's got Sam's butt trouble. I like that, butt troubles. That's a good idea for a game. We'll see you guys next week on the SideQuest. Peace out.
Yo, this new game is awesome.